There is a growing trend in teaching positive thinking with the promise that it will help you manifest your dream life, which it actually does, it works. However, it is starting to make people afraid of even feeling a negative emotion. They believe if they allow themselves to feel something negative, they will attract more negative things into their lives and their dream life will never come true. Now, I don't know who has been teaching this, but I was so shocked to learn that people are actually genuinely trying their best to avoid any negative feelings. And I'm here to explain you why this approach is setting you up for one of the most painful experiences of your life. An emotion is simply a messenger, like the mailman that is delivering important information. You might want to check out my video about why emotions are so important to know more about emotions. To truly understand manifestations, emotions, the law of attraction, and how that all works out, it will really help you to understand more about the concept of energy, to learn more how it works. Because everything is energy. The reason why some might find really hard to grasp this concept is because we cannot actually see energy with our own eyes. But of course, if we think about it, we already have devices that send us and receive messages without any cables. So this shows us that energy is all around us, but we just cannot see it. But we know that it exists. Now I'm going to explain this in the most simple, basic way possible. There is a little bit more to it, but for now, it helps a lot if we grasp the basic concept of it. As I mentioned before, emotions are messengers. When something external happens, an event that you witnessed, your eyes perceive that in a certain way. Your brain then sends you a message, much like receiving a text from your phone. And this message is felt in sensations in your body. And your brain then tries to rationalize and interpret that, putting those sensations into words, because that's how we understand things. That's the job of our rational mind, the ego. So when you feel something in your body, if you allow yourself to fully express it, your brain will help you understand that message that it's trying to send. This process can happen in seconds or maybe in minutes, depending on the intensity of the event. And once you have received and processed the message, that emotion and energy will pass and go away. Now, something really important here. When you fully experience your emotions, you allow yourself to sit with them and feel them. Here is what you can feel in your body. You feel the need to cry a lot, scream, wanting to punch something. It's better if you punch a pillow, smash something. You can feel like your skin is on fire or like some acid is eating your internal organs or your skin up. You might want to vomit and so on. But this is normal. This is how your body liberates that energy. Is the process that it needs to go through to get rid of it. But if you stick with what society teaches you to never feel this because that means you are weak or it's getting worse, where do you think that energy goes? Here is a concrete example to help you understand better. Let's say that you are in a public place, surrounded by some people, and you are sitting outside with your friends having a drink, and then suddenly someone nearby stands up and starts screaming and doing some loud noises, like a crazy person, that's what we call. Instantly, you have a reaction to it. That event happened, you receive that, and your brain sends you a message in form of sensations in your body. You might feel like shocked because it was so sudden and so unexpected. And at this point, your rational mind interprets that situation, and here you might think things like, oh my God, who was that? Or, ooh, is he crazy? Is he insane? What's wrong with him? You might even feel anger, shame, or disgust toward that person. This is your rational mind trying to make sense of what you are seeing by interpreting it in words. That's why you criticize and say those things. Now, if in that moment you would allow yourself to fully feel it and go inside after that happened, and you would listen to the message that your emotions, sensations are trying to send you, you would realize that, let's say that you didn't like it. So the message here is that this is wrong, this is bad, because you have been conditioned to believe that being loud, drawing attention to yourself, or making these weird noises is socially unacceptable. You were taught that this will make others dislike you and that people will avoid you. So here, you have learned that there are severe consequences to being loud. You might even have been punished as a kid when you were being loud, whether it is out of joy or sadness. So your rational mind begins to criticize the person who is being loud. This criticism is a coping mechanism that helps you maintain this image of a good person in the society eyes. This criticism is what makes you behave in a certain way and feel ashamed when you don't behave like others around you or how your parents taught you. So this shame and criticism is like a policeman who is being vigilant and controlling your behaviors. Now, in terms of energy, when that event occurred, you receive the energy of that event and you receive it in form of sensations in your body. Your rational mind interprets those sensations based on how it was taught, by labeling them as, in this case, wrong. This is how society and even your parents condition you to view things, by labeling them as right, wrong, good, or bad, without much questioning it. Now, you can see your body as a channel, like a pipe, where the energy comes in and out, unless the pipe is clogged. And here is where the law of attraction comes in. Society and even the field of psychology does not fully understand emotions and how they work energetically. We were taught to fear them because they seem to cause a lot of damage or bring even more pain. And I mean, it makes sense, especially if we don't understand them and we don't know how to process them. It can be really overwhelming and scary to face them. But if you stay in that state of fear, and fear is a blockage, the energy that comes from that event cannot flow out of you as it should. So that means it gets stuck in your body because you didn't process it. When you saw that person acting out and you react with criticism, this is what makes you push that feeling away successively. It's how everybody is doing it for thousands of years. But if you understand the law of attraction, everything that you resist will only persist. It will stay there. So this means that you are now a match to it and it will continue to influence you. So every time that something happens that deeply bothers you and triggers an intense reaction, it's because you haven't released it or learned the lesson it's trying to teach you. That energy, those emotions, sensations remain then stuck in you. And so they will keep coming up again and again in different scenarios with different people, but the underlying emotion will remain the same. And here is where the law of attraction kicks in. The energy that you carry, combined with those thoughts, with the beliefs and desires, is what you will continue to attract. So, if you are holding on to unresolved energies, you will only draw more situations that reflect that. But here, the purpose is so that you can resolve it. For example, the situation that I mentioned before with the person screaming. If you allowed yourself to dive deep into your emotions and you would ask, why do you perceive the person screaming as wrong and bad? You might realize that on a deeper level, your true self, your soul, doesn't see that as wrong or bad at all. You might actually find out that you don't like it because it reminds you of a time in your childhood when you tried to scream, either out of happiness or pain, but you were punished or made feel ashamed or even made fun of by your caregivers or other people. So if you were to heal and resolve that past experience, so with that releasing this, a process known as trauma healing, you would no longer feel shame or hold yourself back from expressing yourself. You might even feel free to then scream out loud out of excitement. I mean, how many times have you wished you could just scream like, yes, because you're feeling good, but shame didn't allow you to. And the best thing is, after you release that, when someone else then expresses that out loud again in public, it won't trigger any negative feelings anymore or the judgment because you have healed it. It won't bother you because you released that emotional charge. To know if you have healed something and truly shift your energy, it isn't by you never encountering a person screaming near you again. That's not a sign of growth and healing. The real sign is when something like that happens, but you react differently. It no longer triggers that negative reaction in you. You have understood it, you have released the heaviness attached to it, and now you don't feel that anymore. Now, when it comes to emotions of grieving and extreme abuse, the situation is a little bit more complex, but the basic principles remain the same. So, what happens if you experience a sensation, an emotion you perceive as negative, and instead of feeling it, you immediately try to think of a positive thing and distract yourself with affirmations and positive visualizations? Where do you think that energy emotion goes? Away? Well, if that would be true, then it would not come back. But it does, doesn't it? So that means that gets stuck in your body. And with that, your body becomes a deposit. And over time, this unresolved energy will make you crazy or dive you into madness. That's why people suddenly, they just explode and commit extreme acts like hurting, punching, or killing others. But now, if you manage to suppress those emotions so strongly that it doesn't lead you to an outburst, it doesn't disappear either. Instead, it manifests as illness in your body. Because your body isn't designed to carry that kind of energy indefinitely. And eventually, it takes a toll. Or in more extreme cases, it could lead to such an extreme emotional detachment where it leads to psychopathy. So here you become a sociopath, psychopath, narcissist, codependent, and so on. Now, one crucial thing here to understand about life on this planet is that no matter what you do, you will always experience contrast, some sort of negativity. And that doesn't mean that is a bad thing. It is there for a reason, to teach you something, to show you something really important. Contrast is what keeps us moving forwards. It's what helps us to grow and to evolve. Otherwise, we all would just become a couch potato doing nothing and being stuck in a loop. And the majority already is in there. I mean, just look around you. I think everybody knows a person who resists change so much, they avoid anything that is new, any growth whatsoever. Can you see how much pain they are carrying and how negative they actually are? This happens because they are fighting against their natural process of evolution. And ironically, much of this resistance comes from the way that society forced us to be. We have spent years to learn how to do that, to avoid things. That's why we need to use drugs and medicines and alcohol and all those things to distract us from it, to not feel so much pain. Look, I understand that you might feel really exhausted. I mean, really tired of feeling bad, of seeing how society is so broken and how everything seems to be only pain with more pain and just pain with nothing else. I mean, we are working harder and getting less in return. And that only makes us feel even more drained. I get it. I carried that heaviness for so long to the point that I didn't want even to continue anymore with this life. But I promise you that once you learn how to truly deal with your emotions, to feel them, express them, and you start to connect with who you truly are and express that, it won't feel like this anymore. Because when you feel good, it will feel like you are in heaven. And then you take those tools like positive affirmation, visualizations, and all that great things. You take that and you can keep building on that good feeling. It's amazing. That's when you should use those tools. But when you feel bad, which as you know, it is a part of life, it won't drain you or scare you anymore like it does now. Yes, it will still hurt, but it will be different because you will know that it is temporary, that is there to teach you and show you something. So here, you will know how to feel it, to deal with it in a healthy way, or at least you will know someone who can help you navigate it. And with that, you'll learn the lessons a lot faster. And that makes a huge difference. But please, don't expect your pain or emotions to just disappear in just seconds or minutes. It doesn't work always like that. The real shift happens when you learn how to handle your pain and let those emotions flow through you in a healthy way. The difference is that you will carry that suffering around you for years and you will learn the lessons a lot faster. You will still feel the negativity, but at the same time, you will feel confident and empowered. It is a mix of those feelings. It's nothing like now just avoiding and ignoring those emotions. I mean, this feels good in the moment. Yes, it helps. But in the long run, it destroys you. So when you heal, your energy rises and your manifestations will then come faster. So this means this is not about just thinking positively and use the affirmations. It's about being real with your emotions, processing them and using that energy for growth so that you can know what direction to go. Because this is how you are able to release that negative energy. And if this is so hard for you to believe, I mean, I get it, it makes sense. But at least try to feel your emotions in a more healthy way. Try doing it with someone who already does that, who knows how to do it, and see the difference for yourself. Because only when you start to practicing it, will you be able to prove to yourself if this what I'm saying is true or not. So I hope this helped you in some way, and as usual, I wish you a very nice week.